Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Don't start. Good morning. Good morning. We have a special treat for you today. I have a very special guest on today, and he's going to give you a powerful testimony about him, how he got started, and everything. And we're going to have some wealth conversations this morning. We're going to talk about empowering families and educating communities. He has done a lot in the community where he lives, and he has helped a lot of people. So I would like for you guys to share this, do a watch party on your feeds. You don't want to miss this conversation. He's a well-known preacher, world. I want to say worldwide. He's very well known, very respected in his communities around the town. He's associated with high dignitaries, representatives within his state, senators, and things like that. So we want you to get on. We're going to have some serious conversation. He is full of wisdom and knowledge, and we want to share with you today. Hey, Rob. So if you guys could share to your page, good morning, Young. Good morning. So we want to make sure that everybody can share to their page and everything. We're going to get started here. For those that don't know, my name is Dr. Kathy Kirkland. I'm a co-pastor of a church here called Temple of Faith here in Killeen, Texas. I've been pastoring for 10 years alongside my husband, Dr. Mark Kirkland, and I have been evangelizing right at 30 years. When I first got started in the Forex industry, it was at an inopportune time. And during the time that I got started, I used to be a real estate agent. So when the real estate market crashed, my whole world crashed right along with it, right along with my 401k. And I had 4 kids in college, a 4-year-old and a husband who had just retired from the military. So we were struggling. We was living off a half a check. And I needed to know how the rich got wealthy. I needed to do something totally different that I haven't done before because I kept going to school to get a good job. I even got all the way up to a PhD. And every time I needed more money, I went to school to get a good job. But I ended up owing more than what I was actually making, because I had to pay so much to keep going to school to get a good job. But I noticed that the wealthy was going to school to learn how to make money work for them. So, and those are the type of conversations we want to talk about this morning. So, we want to make sure that you share the feed, YouTube. If you're on, share with somebody else, tell them to hop on and join this live. And so, I want to introduce our special guest this morning, our very own Pastor Greg out of the great state of Florida. So, Pastor Greg, welcome to the call this morning.
Listen, Dr. Kathy, thank you so much for inviting me. And certainly I am truly excited to be sharing with you on this wonderful Wednesday.
Well, I am so honored to have you in my presence.
Well,
Pastor
well, I
Greg, can
think
you
I
get
think we
them?
both owe each other the honor. I'm honored to be here.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Can you share with the Facebook Live and the YouTube with social media how a little bit about your story, where you come from, and how how Forex has been for you.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. And certainly, when you look at life, life has a way of bringing you to points and periods where you have to know that, God orchestrates everything.
Yes.
I'm here in Tallahassee. I pastor here in Tallahassee. I serve as CEO of a nonprofit. But prior to that, I had the opportunity to go away to a different kind of college.
Mhm.
And when I say a different kind of college, I was listening to you talk about the many degrees that you have gained and how you have matriculated through the universities all the way up to getting a PhD. Well, I took a different route and ended up in the federal prison system, sentenced to life plus 40 years. Can you believe it? And I'm
Wow.
here today talking with you.
Look at God. That was the favor.
Yeah, absolutely. Life plus 40 years. And one of the things that I did discover, Dr. Kathy, during that time away, it gave me an opportunity to realize that there was so much going on in the world. I come to realize how the world was actually being ran. One of my cellmates used to be a Wall Street broker while I was in the
Mm.
camp. So therefore, he began to educate me on what happens on Wall Street. He began to educate me about money. He began to educate me about the markets. And I really, my eyes and understanding to the world around us became open. And it's through that process that I always said, you know, once I got out, I was going to find a way to get into the markets. I was going to find a way to do that. And I did. And it's been a great opportunity that I've had. I have come back to my city and become involved in my city, educating our community. And that's what you're talking about,
Yes.
educating and equipping our communities, our families. Because what we fail to realize is that we're in an hour whereby your creative skills are going to cause you the residual income that you need. And there is nothing like being able to grab hold to a skill that can create revenue for you for the rest of your life. So it's been through this process that I've been working in the community. And one of the things that I discovered, and I'm sure you know this as to be a fact, that financial literacy is so rampant. I mean, we are missing out on so much when it comes to finances, when it comes to understanding how money works, when it comes to understanding that we're in a season whereby wealth can really be ours. I know the value of money, the lifestyle that I was living, the 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 profession that I was in. Even though I was a pastor, I was also in pharmaceutical sales
Mhm.
illegally on the side, and therefore it generated wealth. So I know what it means. I know the power that comes with it. And here today, I'm just delighted to be sharing with the number one educator that's a part of an I Am Academy that teaches, trains individuals throughout the world on how to become knowledgeable in a skill set that would change their lives for the rest of their lives. So I'm excited about being here with you today.
Well, I'm glad to have you. Just listening to your story, your testimony, how what everything works together for the good. Because look at where you're at now. Maybe God placed you in that position so that you can get some knowledge from the guy that worked on Wall Street, so you can come out and change communities. So when you first heard it, I know that it's something that we weren't taught. Well, I'm gonna say I wasn't taught. It was something that I wasn't taught growing up. I was always taught to go out and work for money. And yeah, and some would say, the Bible says if a man don't work, he don't eat. He said a man, not a woman, man. So now we're gonna be gender preference here. But if a man don't work, he don't eat. But I do believe that your job is seed money. All of it is not supposed to be spent on bills, and you're not having anything left over, causing you to have lack in your house. When you first got started, when you got out and you start educating communities and things like that, when you first started trading foreign currency, and let's talk to some of the ones that's been locked up. So let's do that. Let's talk to some of the ones that's been locked up, having a hard time trying to find a job because of their past. Been served their time, paid for the crime, paid for the crime and everything, served their time, but having problems with just getting employment where we've forgiven them, but their past will forever follow them and they can't get a job. What would you say to them?
Well, I mean, first of all, let me say thank you for knowing that ministry work deals with men and women who are coming back into our community. That's one of the major questions that the Savior asked. I was in prison and you visited me not. So to
Mm,
be able to know that there is an umbrella, there is an arm, there is an opportunity for men and women who cannot find a job. There is an
mhm.
opportunity to learn a skill that will create for you the kind of wealth that you're looking for. So I want to say to those who are listening to us today, Dr. Kathy, I want to say don't let your label limit you.
Come
Don't
on.
let being labeled a former this or a former that limit you to
Mhm.
the endless possibilities that lies ahead of you. Learning a skill set in the foreign exchange market changes your life forever.
Mhm.
You would have to know that you can apply yourself and you can be whatever your desires are to be. So I want to say to men and women who are listening to us, I want to say to family members who have men and who have sons and daughters who are
Mhm.
incarcerated, who are coming out of incarceration, who cannot seem to find employment in the workplace. Well, guess what? The job you're looking for is inside of you. And what's inside of you is the creativity. What's inside of you is the opportunity to create for your family a wealth plan that would change their life forever. Most times, when it comes to committing a crime, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of thought process. It takes a lot
Yes.
of planning. It's not something that just happens. I mean, for me in the business that I was in, it took a lot of work. I mean, it took a lot of planning. It took a lot of being able to dodge bullets. It took a lot of all of that. Here, if you apply the same time, you apply the same mindset, your whole life changes. So I believe today, Dr. Kathy, that we're talking to some family members. We're talking to somebody today that has gone through the penal system and having trouble finding a job.
Yes.
But today is the day that your life changes because I believe this day has been ordained to give you a skill set that if you just apply yourself, your whole life changes, your whole family changes, your whole generation changes because the market that we're talking about has over $7 trillion in it a day.
A day, not a week, not a month, not a year, not 5 years, but a day. A day.
And so with that being said, connecting with you has really become to me a dream come true because of your heart for the lost, the least, and the last. And one of the things that I've always wanted to do was to be able to teach and to be able to have someone mentor me that could really, really impress and embark upon and educate those who are coming out. So I envision, and when we look at it, I envision a classroom with returning citizens learning
Yes.
the skill and being able to walk away after graduation with a skill set, just as a person would enroll in a trade school to learn about plumbing or to learn to be a
Exactly.
barber or to learn to be an electrician or to learn to be a carpenter. The thing about this is that you're training and you're reigning at the same time. I like to say
I like
training and
that.
reigning.
Trading
You
and
like to say
braining.
earning and learning. I like to say
Yes.
you're training and reigning at the
Yes.
same time. So that's dear to my heart. I do a lot of work with men and women who are coming out of prison. I have a project called the Joseph Project that is definitely designed to work with those men who are coming out of prison. As Joseph went from the pit to the palace, and he did that because he had a skill set. God gave him a talent. God gave him a gift. He was able to interpret the dream of the king. So when we can take men to come out of the pit, give them a skill set, then guess what they are able to do? They're able to change the community. They're able to change the
Yes.
family structure. They're able to educate. They're able to empower. So I'm excited about what God is doing.
Awesome. I like now what you said earlier about um how being creative. We have a lot of creativity down on the inside of us. God created us to be unique, and we're supposed to be a peculiar people. We're supposed to stand out. Deuteronomy 8 and 18 talks about how He gives you power to get wealth. Get wealth, not just to go make pennies on the dollar. He gives you power to get wealth. And then even in Isaiah 48 and 17, he will teach you how to profit. Somebody said, Jonathan said, no longer locked up, but locked in. I like that, Jonathan. I like that.
Okay.
No longer locked up, but locked in. And sometimes things happen for a reason. That don't mean, hey, sissy, that don't mean that life is over because you made a few mistakes in life. We've made a few mistakes. So guys, share this feed. And if you're on here and you've had this problem, and you're located in Florida, Texas, Ohio, Pennsylvania, I don't care where you're at. If you're on here, we can help you. We can help you. We can help you become entrepreneurs. We can help you be able to build a business, and we can help you by showing you this skill set so that you don't have to worry about money. Because a lot, and let's just be real on this talk. So hopefully, it helps somebody and reach out and help somebody. If it's helping you, throw some hearts in the chat, because Pastor Greg has the experience and the anointing to help you get to where you need to be. Especially if you're in Tallahassee, Florida. My cousin just went back to work, but I'm gonna make sure she get this feed because I know she know a few people. If you're in Tallahassee, Florida, look him up. Look him up. Hit him up on his Facebook page or his Instagram. Hit him up. Now, a lot of people that get out that end up going back into the prison system is because they don't have the funds to pay the fees or the fines.
Absolutely. I would have to totally agree with you. And one of the things that I know it becomes the major problem, finding employment. And I
Mhm.
believe that if men can recognize that, if they would just realize that what they're looking for is within them,
Mhm.
then looking for a job would not be what they're looking to do. They will look to see, how can I perform this entrepreneur spirit, this gift that I have. And Dr. Kathy, I want to say this because I believe that we're in a season where God is giving witty ideals, and God is connecting people together to empower people. And
Mhm.
when you look at ministry and the work that we do in ministry, we have to conclude that there are a lot of people that are just used to a job. And somebody said job stands for just over broke. I don't know how
Yes.
true that is, but that's what they say. But I believe that this learning this skill set. I was telling a young man this morning, as a matter of fact, it's so ironic. Just got out of prison, on probation, can't find a job. I was just telling him this morning. I said, listen, brother, if you could just take time out and study this system, I
Mhm.
promise you, your whole life changes. And a lot of people are not aware of the foreign exchange market. I
Right.
wasn't aware until God put a young man in the room with me who was a Wall Street broker. I mean, a lot of times prison becomes a liability, but for me, it became an asset. Why? Because
Right.
I was able to connect with so many people that I would not ever had a relationship with. It was through my relationships in prison that I met the CEO of Ruth Chris, and we're still friends today. It was my
Wow.
relationships in prison that I met Martin Glass, who used to run Rite Aid, and we still friends right now. It was my relationships in prison that Jared Kushner, who works for Donald Trump, married Donald Trump daughter, that his daddy was my cellmate, and we're still in relationships right now. So all of this happened while I was on a journey that most folks considered would be my place of burial. Why? Because I was sentenced to life plus 40 years. So
Uh-huh.
therefore, they automatically counted me out. They said he's done. So to be able to be on this live with you today, to be able to be in connection with you today, to have you as a mentor in my life, and one of the things that I share with a lot of people is that you have to have mentors. You have to have people
Yeah.
that keep you accountable, that hold you accountable. I was used to doing my own thing because I was the kingpin, so I didn't need no
Yeah.
mentor. But I came to realize that God said, I want you to be the king's pen. And when
Come
you're the
on now.
king's pen, then
Yeah.
that means you're going to fall under subjection. That means
Uh-huh.
you're going to be able to be accountable. That means you're going to have people in your life that's going to help you to stand when the enemy throws the bowling ball to knock you down. So I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for the heart that you have. I'm grateful for the commitment that you have to ensure that people learn a skill that can change their life forever.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. Guys, if you're on here, share the feed. Get back with the person that invited you on. We want to make sure that you get this skill set, because nothing should be stopping you. And like he said, we was not. I'm not gonna say everybody. So let me say I was not taught. I was not taught anything about the foreign exchange market, even though we were military and we travel overseas. I see my good friend Tony is on. We were in Germany together, and we used to go on the economy, and we would spend our dollars for the during that time. It was the marks. Close that door. It was the marks, the German marks, and then when we did that, we went on, and then we went on and, and I have distractions. I'm sorry. We went on and on the economy, we had to exchange our dollars for their dollars, and a lot of times we would get more money back, but we didn't know that we was participating in the foreign exchange market. So if we knew back then when to buy and when to sell, we could have made a lot of money off of it. Forex has been around since 4 AD. It first started in Jerusalem. It has been a profitable market for 2014 years. Ecclesiastes 11 and 1, the Good News Translation states that, the whole chapter 11 states that it is good to enter into foreign trade because you never know what bad luck this world is going to give you, and that you need a minimum of 7 streams of income in order to survive. So if the wisest man that ever lived and the richest man that ever walked this earth said that it's good to enter into foreign trade, that means it's for everybody.
Wow, wow, wow. Can I just stick a pin in
Jump
that because
in.
you said something. You said it's for everybody. It's a word out of Ecclesiastes that Solomon gives us to say this is wisdom. Take advantage of what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
that scripture really just came alive in your life.
Yeah. The living word is for everybody. So don't let the enemy talk you out of, because looking at the charts, they are intimidating. And to me, that's the trick of the enemy. Because if you know your colors and you can say your ABCs up to D, you can trade. You can trade. It's as simple as the red line crossing the blue line. You get in for a buy, a red line crossing under the blue line, you get in for a sell. It's just that easy. I went from not knowing how to read the charts to being the number one educator within the company in the first for 8 months. And then after that, being in the top five, sometimes in two positions for the past year. And I'm the first Black female to create a strategy that has been number one come July, hopefully still reigning by July, for 2 years with
But
a 90 to 94% win ratio.
wow. So this what you are doing now, all of those degrees on your wall has nothing to do with what you're doing
Child, no, nothing. Nothing. I
now.
went to school. If you ask, I tell people all the time, it took me 30 years to get a PhD. I don't work in none of them. They just look good on my wall. I paid all that money for a piece of paper.
So I know you should. I know we having a conversation, but I have a lot of my followers are on. How did you get started in the foreign exchange market?
Okay, but the way I got started was a good friend of mine, Dr. Jewel Tinker, introduced this to me. And I didn't want my rich friend to know that I was broke. So
Wow.
they had told her, she had met the Youngs, Lawrence and Tamara Young. And so she was flying down to meet them in Dallas. And they were introducing her to this educational platform. So I met her there. We went there, and I was surrounded by millionaires, multimillionaires, and a billionaire. So, and I'm listening. I'm in a whole nother circle now. And I'm listening. These people are not clocking in. And they talking about Forex. And I'm like, what is Forex? I didn't know what it was. And then, of course, I started Googling immediately so I wouldn't look stupid, sitting there so I can have these conversations. And sometimes you got to just be quiet and listen. And so got a chance to meet the owner, found out about, it's just a copy and paste. And he used to be in the same positions that some of us were in, homeless, going from job to job, being broke, doing everything he most possibly can, highly intelligent. And somebody introduced it to him. Matter of fact, his wife introduced it to him. And when they first met, he had told her the story and everything, and she introduced it to him. And she said, "I can show you how to make money work for you," because she was doing it. Now, this is where that Proverbs 31 woman comes in at, because they talk about how she went into, she gathered all her things together. She gathered her family. She cooked for her handmaid. She gave them instructions. She gathered all her things. She went into the market and she traded.
Wow.
So she taught the owner how to trade. And he said if he ever made it big, he ended up with a job on Wall Street, worked on Wall Street for 25 years, trained the top traders on Wall Street. And he said if he ever made it big, he would make this affordable for people on Main Street because he was so grateful at how it changed his life, and he wanted to change other lives. So that's how I got started. I came back, and I was so excited. I began to tell my friends about it. I came back to my circle that said, "This is a scam. You need to get a job," because they wasn't used to having something different. We have been trained to go to school, get a good job, buy a house, and that's the highlight of your life. It stopped right there. And
Wow.
so they was telling me, no, no, don't do it. And I got so discouraged. I came home and I began to pray about it. And then that's when God gave me Ecclesiastes 11:1. So I knew then that we were in a man-made company with a God-written skill set I couldn't lose. Even if, and what I tell people all the time, even if you lose a trade, because trading foreign currency can be risky if you don't know what you're doing. Even if you lose a trade, the beauty of it is you know where you lost it and you knew which direction it went. You get back in the market because it's still good to enter into foreign trade. So that's how I got started. I didn't start with a whole lot. I started with $40.
$40?
I started trading with $40.
Well, now you
Now,
know 40 is the number for testing. So your $40
mm,
was testing your faith and your commitment to how far you would go. Jesus spent 40 days in the wilderness.
true.
Children wandered 40 years. So your $40 is now your testimony, huh?
Yes, my $40 is my testimony, and my $40 still work for me this day.
Those same $40.
Those same $40. My
Wow. And I
account
love
never goes under $40. Everything that I have gained, I can't give a dollar amount, but everything that I have gained over the past 4 years is capital gains. My initial investment of $40, I got back 4 years ago.
wow. And this I want to call it this ministry work that you're doing.
It
I
is.
I know you're a skilled trader. I know you're a skilled educator. You're the #1 educator in the I Am Academy. I know all of that, but I really call it ministry work because you really got to have a heart to really invest in people to see them succeed. You know,
Yes.
there's so many people who gather success. There's so many people who gather wealth, who gather knowledge, and they hoard it. But you're
Yeah.
saying, I'm an open book. I want to pour into you. I want to
Yeah.
help you see life better because somebody helped you. You want to pay it forward. And that's
Exactly.
what I love about you.
I do. I want to pay it forward. I'm just like you. You're doing the same thing. You want to pay it forward back to the community because it was presented to you. And like I said, the reason why I named the strategy ECC 11 is so that people can ask me what do that stand for. And so to me, I'm planting a seed. If I can get you to pick up the Bible and look up that scripture, and somebody else is going to come and water it, somebody else is going to come get the increase. This is to let you know this is a part of the wealth transfer. Now, that's out of the book of Kirkland, chapter 5, verse 2. I believe that it is a part of the wealth transfer. And so, what we're doing, Pastor Greg and I, we partnered together so that we can hold each other accountable to make sure that we're learning this skill set. We even have study groups, have a private study group with Pastor Greg and some of my other leaders. We study together because
Absolutely.
we're forever a student. We're always learning. And I teach you what I've learned to get me to where I need to be, just like somebody sat down and taught me how to get to where I needed to be. So if you're seeing this, make sure that you share it on your feed. Get back with me or Pastor Greg, And we'll make sure that you're connected to the right people. And like you said, the power of connection. He was in a bad situation, but look at who all he got connected to.
Absolutely. And relationships are horizontal and vertical. I
Yes.
mean, so when you take a look at, and what I love about our conversation, we're able to talk the word. So when you take a look at the life of Christ on the cross, you see him horizontally and vertical. So you got to be able to know that relationships that you enter in, they got to be horizontal, they got to be vertical, and they got to be able to stretch you. And this is what this is doing. And I want to say to those who are tuning in to us today, if by chance you have been thinking about this opportunity, if by chance you have been around someone and they've been talking about it, well, I want to tell you today is a divine day for you. Why? Because you are hearing from the number one educator. Not only that, but you're hearing from someone who has a heart to really help you get to your dreams, to help you get to the next level of what life has to offer you. You don't have to sit and wonder year after year how I'm going to make it. Today is the day that the new you is about to come forth. Why? Because you're about to gain insight and information on how to have a skill set that can change your life forever. And for the person who said, well, I don't have time, I promise you, if you can just carve out, well, right now, Dr. Kathy, all we got is time because we have to stay
Yeah.
on
Oh,
point.
we got his space and opportunity now.
Yes, yes.
In the
So,
house.
so if you're listening to us and it's something that you have been thinking about and it's something that you have heard about, but just felt like, well, maybe it's a little too much for me. As you heard Dr. Kathy say, she did not have a clue as to how to read charts. All she did was begin to ask God to give insight. And out of what she asked God for creative ideas, here comes EC11, the new strategy from a biblical verse. How he does things.
Yes. I mean, so amazing. And I believe God slowed us down for a season so that we can tap into those creativities and, our creative side and slow down so that we can hear and listen to be able to do this. And let me tell you this, Brandon Boyd said it best. Don't let $6 a day stop you from reaching your financial freedom. The price
Wow.
of your freedom is everything. This is only $6 a day. It's $234 and some change to start. And you have 30 days. And what we've been doing, been doing this, Project 30. And what that is you practice in your trades, practice trading every day for 30 days. They say after 21 days of doing the same thing, it becomes a habit. You have created a habit over a lifetime of working a 9 to 5, paying your bills, going to sleep, missing time with babies, missing graduations, missing, you're seeing your kids grow up, missing a lot of stuff. Now you have the space and opportunity to get set free. If you only knew what I paid for each degree every semester just to go to school to get a good job and work a 9 to 5, this $235 is the easiest, cheapest, most affordable educational platform that you can invest in. And the beauty of it is, if you get in with us and in our study groups and practice with us for the first 7 days, and we show you exactly how to make money work for you, after 7 days, you're not satisfied, you can get your money back.
Huh.
I wish I could get my money back off of this.
No, as a matter of fact, they probably they have what we call payback student loans. You're paying back.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Well, Doc, there's a pastor friend of mine. He jumped on. He said, I was just talking to someone about this the other day. I don't know whether you see that comment or not. Pastor William Gravely. Well, William, I want you to get in touch with me, man. When I get off, just inbox me so that we can talk more. But Dr. Kirkland, I want to ask you this because I think this is so important for the listeners. When you're able to create, here we are now in a pandemic, And people are losing their jobs. People are trying to get unemployment claims. There's so much going on in our world right now. I mean, the world right now is being impacted in a way that we've never seen before.
Right.
But there's one thing that we do know: the markets, the stock market and the foreign exchange market have never gone. The foreign exchange market has never gone broke. We know that trillions of dollars are being generated daily. And we also know that during this season, the rich are going to get rich and the
Yes.
poor are going to get poor.
There's no in between.
There's no in between. We also know that in this season, there's a wealth transfer. And this is what I really love about you. We've had this conversation and it just really, just really made my heart feel really glad to know that so many times as believers and as Christians, we always talk about a wealth transfer. There's going to
Yes.
be a transfer of wealth. Well, you said something to me the other day that really just made me know that this is a time when God is strategically placing the kingdom in a place where if we can grab hold to the moment, we can see the transfer of wealth take place. Can you just talk about that for a minute?
Yes. Now what I'm saying is, John, that my nephew is sitting right here with me, just scratching all in my video. Yes. So this may be an inopportune time for a lot of people, and it may seem like a bad time, but good always come out of the bad. And this is a part of the wealth transfer. So what we do, our church is backed by Forex.
Say that again.
Our church is backed by Forex.
You kidding me?
Okay. No, I'm not. It's Bible. So the church should be the first one to be backed by Forex. You don't have to, get the grants. I mean, you can get the grants, you can get all that stuff, but your church need to be backed by Forex. Because when this happened about 10 years or so ago, a lot of churches had to close doors. And they lost their building because people were trying to eat. So they wasn't trying. The first thing a lot of people cut out, tithes and offering and all of that, that keeps the church running because the church is a business as well. But as pastors, God placed us there, not just for salvation, but for the business part of the Bible as well. And your church, your house, if major corporations are backed by Forex and gold, then your church and your house should be backed by Forex and gold. You should be a Fortune 500 company. God has given us the skill set to and given us the power to get wealth. So he's not just giving us part of the Bible. You can't just do certain sections of the Bible and not do all of them. Now, our job is to be a good steward over our time and our finances, just like in Matthew 25, when he gave
Mhm.
the talents, he gave one 10, one 5, and he gave one 1. And the one that had one hid it. And that's some of us, some of our churches, where and our people where we hid the talent and we put it in the bank and we just looked at it. It didn't grow. But the one that he gave 10 to and gave 5 to, they doubled what they had and he gave them even the more. He came back for the increase, which was the tithe. And then by the time that we got down to the one that had one in verse 27, he hid his and told him, this was his exact words: I knew that you would come back reaping where you haven't sowed, which was a lie because God gave seed to the sower. Genesis 22, he gave him
Wow.
the seed, but he hid it because we were taught, put your money in the bank, save your money, but your money is not growing. So in that latter part of verse 27, God said, if you had gave my money to the exchangers, I could have
Mhm.
came back for my increase. Now, some of you that's on here are saying, now y'all are pastors, you didn't have no business talking about this. You shouldn't be talking about the money. Who better to tell you how to spend your money, not spend your money, but how to invest your money or talk about money than the church? The world has taught us, and where have that landed you? So I'm like Paul in First Thessalonians 2 and 9. The Amplified version states that I practice in my trades daily so that I would not be a financial burden unto the people. So we're not looking on your plate to make sure that you don't have that, to see how much you have. We're making sure that you have enough. This is how families are getting empowered and communities are being educated. You heard Pastor Greg's story, you heard my story, and there's others on here with the same amount of stories. People, it's time to get real with this. It's time to get real with this. You've been doing the same thing for 30, 40, 20, 10 years, expecting a different result. That's insanity.
Yeah, it is, and it is, and I think that we're in an hour where there's an awakening of our mindset. There's an awakening that life is more than what we have been told. There's so much more, and to hear you say something as profound as your ministry, your church is backed by forex. So that means your church has a major investment and a major return when it comes to what takes place in the market.
Exactly. So during this time that we can't gather together in the same place and people have been furloughed from their jobs, Forex is keeping the lights on, keeping the mortgage paid. Forex is keeping the water on, the air on, the electricity, all of that. So we're not relying on people. We're relying on this God written skill set to make sure that our everyday bills are paid, our staff is paid. We're making sure all those things are done until we can come together again. And we're still, even when we come together again and people get their jobs and they start giving and they start doing all these things, God has set it up to where ain't nobody gonna get no glory out of that but Him.
Amen. Amen. So I am excited about the partnership that we're embarking upon. I'm excited about the opportunity that we are having to share this knowledge, share this skill set with pastors all across this nation, and
Yes,
to be committed to ensuring them that just carving out a little time of their day daily can change their life forever. Dr. Kathy, how important, and I know we're having this conversation, and it seemed like I'm doing all the questioning, but
oh
I
no,
want people
hey,
who
this is
are I
good.
want people who are listening, who are tuned in to us, to know how important. If you really want to go to a place that you desire, then it's important to find that person who's gone there, and
That's
mark. The Bible said, mark that person. That means connect with them. That
connect.
means become submitted to them. And how important is mentorship?
Mentorship is real important. Come on, God had a mentorship program. He had 12 disciples He mentored, and they went out and they turned the world upside down. This is what the church is supposed to be doing. We create leaders amongst leaders. Moses was a mentor. He mentored over 1 million people, but he chose 70 and trained them, and they went out and split up and they turned the world upside down. This is ministry. Pastors, you guys have got to get on and stop worrying about what's a scam. You got the Holy Ghost for a reason. And if it's written, then you need to tap into that, whether you want to or not. You still have, and then some say it's God's money. Yes, God's money. God's give us seed, and you got to be good stewards over it. But you can't be afraid to do what He done told you to do. This is how we're supposed to. To me, this is how people will come to you and say, "Hey, how you doing? What you're doing, and how you got what you got, and you're not doing what we're doing." Tradition says we need to do this, but the Bible says we need to do that. And then that's what gets us in a lot of trouble is we stick with our tradition, thinking that okay, this is how it's supposed to go because my mama did it, my grandma did it, my granddaddy did it, my daddy did it, and so on and so forth. But what did the Bible say? This is why you got to study to show your own self-approved. So I'm admonishing all leaders that's connected to me and to Pastor Greg. Don't tell me you don't have time because we got time to sit down and watch TV. We got time to do everything else. And yeah, you need that downtime, but you still got to manage your time because life is outside of those church doors.
Wow. Wow. I'm just looking at some of the comments, and I want to say Apostle Dewan is screaming out exactly. So one of the things that I know, Dr. Kirk, Dr. Kathy, is that you have impacted a lot of lives through this skill set, learning how to be skillful in the foreign exchange market, learning a skill set. You have impacted a lot of lives. And just for the listeners who are tuning in today with us, I know my story. I know what God has brought me from. I guess what would be the most rewarding, impactful story that you encounter with teaching someone this skill set and seeing where they are now?
One of the most impactful ones that I've had was somebody that was, not, giving no name, but somebody that was homeless and living in their car. They couldn't afford the rent. They just couldn't afford it. They ran on some hard times, had some domestic violence going on, uh, had a couple of kids, and was trying to get on their feet. And they invested enough to get in there, and they was like, I'm going to give it my all for 34 days. And I can't give a dollar amount, but she started with investing. I can say she could start out investing $300 into a trade account. She got on with me every night and every morning, and three weeks, in 3 weeks, she was worth five figures to where she was able to find her a place to stay, get her a better car, buy her furniture, buy her kids clothes, and still have plenty left over to cover her bills for the next 4 months. All because she had did everything else and failed. Had tried everything else, bad relationships that was keeping her down, messing with her self-esteem, things like that. And she found herself because of her girls. And she had to be that example for those girls. And to me, from going from sleeping into your car to having a nice 4 bedroom house in a decent community, neighborhood, and not having to worry about what she was going to eat, where they was going to sleep, where they're going to be safe, sleeping in front of a hotel in their car, or wherever they had to park their car to get some rest during the night and wash up in public bathrooms. To me, that was the greatest story, the greatest testimony that I have had today, to where she was not relying on man. And she got into church, and when I told her this was Bible, she quoted the E.F.E.C 11, Ecclesiastes 11, over and over again. God, you said it's good to enter into foreign trade, and she learned the skill set. She learned how to watch when the red line crossed the blue line.
Wow. And that's it.
That's
Watching the
it.
red line cross the blue line. Wow. Listen, I tell you, this has been amazing. I'm so thankful that we just had the opportunity to come on and just talk. What happened? My watch party just ended.
Oh, did it?
Yes.
I don't know why. In it, Lord, did somebody cut you off? That's all right. You can start it all over again when we get off.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
You're
But
impacting lives. They look, they're blowing your Facebook page up. So look at it like that. They're blowing your Facebook page up, and Facebook can't keep up with it.
wow, that is. I mean, it ended. It ended. But I'm really grateful. And I'll say to those who are listening, I will say to them to that in this hour that we're in this hour that we're in, that you need to take advantage of every moment that you have as quiet time to invest in you, because you become the most valuable person uh, during this time. So don't let nothing stop you from investing in you and to learn this skill
She
set.
said you're still on.
I'm there.
Yeah, you're there. You probably can't see it, but you're there.
My feet, my watch is there.
Your watch is there.
Oh, wonderful. Then I thought they had. Well, I can't see it. That's strange.
Oh,
No.
Rob, I can't wait for you to join back with me too this weekend. So, guys, while we're on here, make sure that you get back with the person that that invited you to the call. If it was on, if whoever watch Facebook page you were on with the watch party, get back to them. We have Apostle Rockingham said, "Y'all talking kingdom dominion?" Yes, sir. We sure is. That's what we've been called to do, and we're not ashamed of the gospel either.
Absolutely.
At all.
Absolutely.
We done been through hell. I'm not keeping my mouth closed. There's some people going around, like they told blind Bartimaeus, be quiet. You can't tell me to be quiet.
Be
I'm not.
Absolutely.
Not when it comes to the word. So this ain't got nothing to do with anything but the word. And I thank God for it. Well, Pastor Greg, we've been on here for about 51 minutes. I don't want to keep you in there long because I know you got work to do. So get back with the person. Get back with the person that invited you to this call. If you're brand spanking new, and that's meaning not signed up with I Am Mastery Academy, reach out to Pastor Greg or myself or the person that invited you. Get signed up today. If they're on my team, you're connected to me. We're going to start a study group this Saturday at noon, and that will be posted for all the new people that just signed up so that we make sure that you, in the first 72 hours, you set up, running, and ready to trade. So, Pastor Greg, I'm going to let you close this out. Give the people some good words to where they need this. Just any last words.
Well, first of all, let me once again say thank you again for inviting me to join you. I feel so honored and special to be a part of this platform, empowering families and educating communities. And one of the things that really has to happen for those of you who are watching, if we're really going to be able to empower families, if we're really going to be able to educate communities, one thing that we have to have some denario. We have to have some cash. We cannot do it any other way. I mean, so I want to encourage all of you, if this is something that you're thinking about, well, the thinking is over. Now it's time to put into action what needs to happen. What needs to happen? You need to either contact myself or contact Dr. Kirkland and say to her or to me, hey, I'm ready. 30 days, I want to give this a try. I want to commit. She shared with you a powerful story of a young lady who was living in a car who said, I'm going for it. Listen, when you're down to nothing or when you're at your wit's end, you don't have but one choice, and that is to survive. But now I want you to go from surviving to thriving. So certainly this has been a moment in history where God is getting ready to change the landscape of your trajectory. Why is he getting ready to do that? Because he got you in a place during this COVID-19 moment so that you can reach within yourself and pull out of yourself something that's going to help you change people's lives forever. And you just happen to be blessed to be tuned into us right now to say, today is the day that the new you come forward. So Dr. Kathy, I'm excited. I'm excited about some of the pastors who've reached out to me already about this. So I'm excited to know that they want to know more information about it. And listen, I'm getting ready to get on the air, and I'm going to ask you to join me for at least a few minutes. My show comes on at 2. I would love for us to talk for at least 5 minutes. I know you.
Yes, I would love to.
Would you love to?
Yeah, send me the information or send it to Shantae, and then I'll hop on.
Okay, wonderful. So thank you once again for inviting me. And I believe today that somebody will accept the challenge. Life will change because they're going to make a move right now.
Well, thank you guys. And we appreciate you watching. And we will see you on the other side of trading. Have a good day.